family. I wanted to come to y'all with another update. And this one is as far as I wanted to fill you in on how my sacred woman journey is going. And in particular, I wanted to talk about just some of the experiences I've been having since I've been doing the spiritual bath. The last time I talked to you guys, I've been doing that quite a bit. Not as much altar work as of yet, but that's in the making. Um, and this, I'm gonna try and be as organized as I can. I just have so much to share, so please bear with me. Um, so I started journaling, and what I do is I'll journal when I feel like something really significant has happened, or I've had an aha moment, or something comes across. So I haven't been journaling every day, but in order to capture those messages that come through, or certain situations, things like that, I do try and capture those. Um, so one of the entries that I have here is, I've been observing Gateway 5, which is that's the sacred space gateway. And so I went out and I got my lavender essential oil. I already had the star tulip flower essence because that's one of the essences I needed for Gateway Zero for the womb. And then, so the color purple, and I went and picked up the Go To Cola tea because in Queen Afua's book she recommends drinking the tea along with some cayenne pepper to help stimulate the blood flow in your brain. And so, and the spiritual guardian for Gateway 5 is Medhead. And the first time I started on this journey, I wish I had read more into the book before I started because um, so pretty much what you're supposed to do is complete Gateway Zero for at least 30 days. I believe it's either 30 days or 40 days. And then you're supposed to advance to the other gateways, but what you can do is you can have a spiritual conversation with yourself to figure out where you need to start. So if you need to start with Gateway 1, which is sacred words, you start there. If it's Gateway 5, dealing with sacred space, so on and so forth. And what she's recommending is that you observe each of the gateways after you complete Gateway Zero. Observe each of the gateways for 7 days straight. So that way you get to experience each and every single gateway. And then after you've done that, then that's when you can go into it on, say, completing the whole 30 days. But I think that way you kind of get a feel for what is involved in each of the gateways. So anyway, I haven't completed the womb gateway zero for a consistent 30 days. But I just felt in my spirit that I needed to start with gateway 5, and that's what I did. And so I started with the baths, of course. Then I incorporated the flower essences. And when I was reading up on Gateway 5, when I went into it at first was because I felt like, there was some negative energy or some really low vibratory energy in my home. And so I went through the house and I, prayed over each room. And then after I finished that, I came and took my spiritual bath. And then I started taking the star tulip. I wasn't drinking the Go To Cola tea just yet because I couldn't find any. And I finally picked some up this Friday. But anyway, I'm going to read a little bit of what I put in my entry here. I said that, the reason why I wanted to start with Gateway 5. And then I go into how I, prayed through the house. And then, let me see here. So immediately after I finished taking my spiritual bath, I just noticed that there was a difference in myself and in my environment in my home. It just seemed like the spirit was lifted, at least for me. Okay, and so then I noticed that, and this was 3 weeks ago. I should say that 3 weeks ago is when I started observing Gateway 5. And so anyway, I noticed that I was able to focus a lot better. I could hear a person say something one time, and repeat almost verbatim what it was they had said. And it's been a very long time since I've had the ability to do that. And I don't know if that's because of the lavender or if it's because of the flower essence that was taking Star Tulip. But I definitely noticed that, and I noticed that the anxiety that I would experience, especially with the type of work I do, we have deadlines each and every single day, and the workload is just sometimes unbearable. But it's like for me, I was able to take it all in, and I was not moved by that. And I said, okay, I'm gonna get it done. And guess what? I was getting it done because I was so focused. So, and I thought that was kind of interesting because, Gateway 5 is dealing with sacred space. And so I was like, well, I thought that was more tailored towards like the physical space of my house. Not so much. I think the sacred space, at least from my perspective, from what I experienced, was the space between my ears, my brain, and also my spirit. Maybe my pineal gland was affected as well. I'm not really sure. But I just noticed that I felt very empowered while I was in Gateway 5. And so I was so excited, and I said, okay, well, let me run out and get everything else that I need. So I went looking for the indigo sapphire, and I wanted to get my purple candles, and I wanted to get, I already have a purple cloth, but I wanted to complete my setup on my altar for Gateway 5, and something very interesting happened. So I was going to go and get all that stuff yesterday, and I woke up with a horrible headache. It was one of those headaches that made you feel like you're going to, get sick or something like that. And so, I waited. I took some medicine, and the headache finally went away. So then I left my house searching for the sapphire, and the place that I went to didn't have it, but they did have the Indian paintbrush flower essence that you can also use in Gateway 5. So I went ahead and grabbed that, and the girl behind the counter was like, "Oh, well, I just purchased a whole bunch of sapphires the other day, and I can tell you where to get it." So I headed over to that, in heading over to the store, could not find it. Drove around for about a good 10, 15 minutes, got really frustrated. So I called the clerk back, and I was like, okay, where did you say this stuff was? She gave me the name of it. I went over there. They didn't have it. So I said, okay, it's because I'm thinking that, this is divine timing that I get this clerk who just finished purchasing the very same stone that I needed, right? And so I was telling her, oh, this is divine timing. She was like, oh, yeah, this is perfect, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking I'm following the spirit. Okay, so get over to this other place, can't find it. And so I said, you know what? Okay, if I'm not supposed to go and get this sapphire, have my daughter give me a call. So I leave the place frustrated, discouraged. Even traffic wasn't acting right. And so as I'm heading over to this other store that I'm sure that they would have it, my phone rings and it's my daughter. So I'm like right down the street from this place, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I put it out there, and I said if I'm not supposed to go, then have my daughter call me. She called me. I said I'm gonna be obedient, and I turned around and started heading home. But so I was totally confused. I got home, and I just decided. I said, okay, let me pick up the Sacred Woman's book and start reading some more. So I ran my bath, put in my essential oil, got in there, started reading, and I left off. It was just before the Sacred Word chapter was to begin. And so I started reading the Sacred Word chapter. And when I got to the end of it, I, felt in my spirit is like, this is the chapter you need to be on. And, I was, everything was kind of coming together because at that point I realized that a couple days ago I had just purchased the eucalyptus essential oil. I didn't know why I was buying it, but I bought it anyway. Also, I have a yellow cloth that I can put on my altar. I already have that. And then one of the flower essences that you can use is larch, and I already have that as well. And on top of that, the what is it? Turquoise is one of the stones that you can use in this particular gateway. And I saw that, I mean, every location that I went to, I started with turquoise. So I was like, okay, maybe the reason why I didn't get the indigo was because, I was only supposed to be in Gateway 5 for a season. Sacred space, like I said, the environment is changing. Things are, I can tell because I observed that gateway that I got benefits, major benefits out of it. So I'm going to move into sacred word. And then what I will do is post an update when I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do for that particular gateway because I went into Gateway 5 just wanting to, whatever practice I could incorporate, that's what I did. Like I said, I wasn't getting up at from between 4 and 6 or 4 and 7 in the morning. I wasn't sitting in front of my altar. I wasn't following a raw vegan diet, but I was taking the spiritual bath. I was reading the Sacred Woman book. I was taking the flower essences. And so I just feel like this is giving me kind of like a preview of what could happen if I fully engage in the practices of each gateway. So I'm going to purpose to do more in Gateway 1. So I'll come to you with an update, and like I said, it's all about intent. Start where you are, do what you can. If all you can do is drink the tea and write in your journal, do that. If all you can do is do the spiritual baths, do that. Just do something. Okay, so that's all I had. It may have seemed very random, but I just wanted to get it out there because I'm super excited. And I'll see you again with an update on Gateway 1, Sacred Word. Okay, thank you. Take care. Be blessed.